Hello everybody, my name is Jaybberwocky, welcome back to my channel, Forple Gaming. I'm here again today with Dishonored. Now, we've already gone around and, if you watched the last episode of course, gone around and picked up all the runes and everything in this room. We've just had that weird-ass fever dream where we got all those shadow powers and whatnot. So we're gonna go around and, do a bit of reading now. Ooh, we gotta... Ooh, I keep pressing E thinking that's gonna get me to interact with things. Not in this game, sir. Rumours and sightings. Dord. Or Daud, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know what that is. Excerpt from an overseer's covert field report. For over a year now, I have lived away from the Abbey without the company of my overseer brethren, or the guidance of the blind sisters of the oracular order. Days have passed with me sleeping in the dens of cut purses, murderers, and worse. And the nights have been... I assume that means thieves. And the nights have been seen me prowling through the worst alleys and wretched corners of Dunwall. I have taken my meals with killers. At times I have ventured beyond the city walls, meeting in forgotten graveyards and the outlying ruins frequented by those of ill means. My beard has grown long, and I wear the weathered clothing and bits of boiled leather favoured by the Bottle Street and Hatter gangs, and by those rough men and women who make their trade knifing others in return for coin. So, stabbing and robbing people. I love the way he's wording everything here. My hands have run red with blood, it's true, but I have selected my targets with care, choosing among those criminals and heretics who were not fit to live, executing them justly, and using their deaths as a means of building my reputation. So far, this trick has allowed me to make my name among my murderous colleagues, without taking the lives of the innocent. My goal is singular. I must impress the assassin named Daud in order to get close to him. Okay, so I assume it is Daud, because it's someone's name. Of all the practitioners of black magic we have tracked, none concern the Abbey as much as Daud. It is said that his mother was a witch from one of the... archipelagos? Off the... text is a little bit hard to read for me. It's just all so close together the way the actual font format is. But anyway, the archipelagos. I'm probably saying that wrong. That's fine. Off the Pandician coast, taken captive by pirates venturing far from the Isles. I'm a writer too, by the way. I shouldn't be having this much trouble reading. According the legend, by the time the ship returned, the captain was dead, and the witch controlled the crew with Daud still shadow in her belly. The earliest stories tell of a gang killer without mercy moving among the shopkeepers and city watch officers of Dunwall like a reaper through wheat. Then a period of silence followed. Years, we now believe, he spent travelling the Isles, studying anatomy and the occult in great halls of learning and in hidden basements frequented by fellow dabblers of the forbidden arts. Daud has even purported to have spent a winter in the Academy of Natural Philosophy itself, and for a time, before a schism developed, he counted the Brigmore witches among his allies. All the while he honed his craft, and it is during this time that we believe he began to consort with the outsider, which is obviously the guy that we've run into. Gave us our fancy powers. New reports emerged of a dusky-skinned assassin paid by the elite to eliminate their rivals in Dunwall and in the other major cities across the Isles. Those who saw him and lived numbered in the handful, but all of them reported something strange. He appeared and vanished like smoke. From a nearby rooftop he gestured, and a noble woman stumbled from her balcony, falling to her doom on the cobblestones below. Most recently, as this new threat of plague has risen in Dunwall, Daud has been seen leading a gang of men in dark leather, dressed as factory whalers in their vapour masks. They seem loyal beyond comprehension for one so unworthy, leading me to wonder if some of his magic is dedicated to lulling their minds, enslaving them. Very possible. Only a month ago, one young girl claims to have come upon a strange scene, carrying a bottle of milk home to her crippled brother. Fuck, I don't know what's going on with me today. Mine's not working right. She was taking a shortcut through the Taylor's district. In a narrow street, she passed beneath a window and heard unusual sounds from within. Pushing aside the ratty curtain, the girl saw into an abandoned apartment used by miscreants for gambling and trading haberweed. Okay. An occult shrine had been erected against the far wall, where she recognized from the teachings given by... which she recognized from the teachings given by her local overseer. A man she described as resembling Dowd was kneeling before the shrine, muttering to an unseen spirit as if in argument. He took a carving made of pale bone from the altar, which are those bone charms we've been getting, obviously, before him, and the lights all went out in a gush of unclean wind. Quiet as a field mouse, she slipped away, running until she reached her home. There can be no doubt, Dowd is an agent of the outsider and must die, for there is no limit to the evil this man might do. This is my solemn oath, and the great purpose of my life. Until Dowd is dead... Okay, see, that's not right. Until Dowd is a dead and his corruption has been purged from this world? Come on. I can't take all the credit for being terrible at reading this. Okay, so, until Dowd is dead, and his corruption has been purged from the world, I will continue to move among the depraved, winding my way toward him. I will not drop my guise, or don my overseer's mask again, until Dowd breathes no more. Dowd. I know, I keep changing my pronunciation too. It's terrible! It's not my fault. First thing I have to do when I come into this game is read a whole bunch of stuff. Oh dear God. Okay. Here we go. Excerpt from the ramblings of a street denizen. Of course, I'll tell you, dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. Of all the dreary days of my life are like the windows of a house. From the kitchen, I can see out into the garden, where the leaves and stalks are brown and bug-eaten. You can see a little lump of dirt where something was wrapped in a blanket and laid to rest along the rows of twisting vines. The front room looks out into the street, where the neighbours are all setting fire to their homes, barricading themselves inside. Warm and snug, dearie. Jesus. Don't forget about the bedroom either. It sees into a dreary alley where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. The first two are hitting him with sticks, and the girl with them is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have those bones, to boil them in a pot. God. No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one you'd want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine. Fine people. Vera Moray, everyone would say. Your house is as grand as Boyle Manor. Better even. Your dinners are lavish and your parties are the best. When that young Sokolov came to paint my portrait, I was nearly still in my prime. Radiant, he said, and he was just barely a man, so young, painting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted a portrait by his hand, all my friends. I was the only one. Dearie, wet with paint, glistening on the canvas for a pretty coin. Oddly sexual there. Pay me like one of your French girls, that kind of thing. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I weren't always at home. No, we travelled together, he and I, to the far ends of the Isles. Beyond even, all the way to the red cliffs of Pandysia, to dig in the rock and crawl through the caves. Holding up candles and squinting at the walls. Many precious things we came upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. All those marks and bones, carved so deep and polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband, then I learned to boil them and carve them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home. He loved them so. All the time he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I could see it in his eyes, even though his tongue was still. Granny, his eyes would say to me, carve these bones for me, make another present. And he went so far, all the way to Dunwall Tower, the royal headsman himself now. Ah, my little mute boy and his shiny, shiny sword. Better bones were what I needed, you see. Better bones to carve and polish, scrape and gleam. My dear old husband was always tired. Wow. I made him soup and then he was sick. I know exactly what's happening here. Better bones was all. For my little mute boy, carved in the name of the one with the black eyes. And after my husband was gone, given away as birthday gifts. I didn't want to live there anymore. So now I'm old and I don't have many to give my presents to. It's sifting through the garbage for granny rags and feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have tea, dearie. Especially those rude louts on Bottle Street. Slackjaw and his boys always meddling with an old woman just trying to make her way. In the end, we'll be together with him, you and me in the dreary night, with stars above and below, and always the one with the black eyes, dearie. Damn, that's creepy. Really, it's quite good writing though, other than that one tiny little typo in the last one that I've read. But it's a great story and everything. Like the whole thing's put together really well. On me. Early life and criminal record, Slackjaw. Excerpt from a series of letters sent by a member of the Bottle Street Gang. You want the chinwag on Slackjaw? What he was like when he was young before he got his name? Oh, he's got a cool head now, but it weren't always like that. Oh, should I be reading this in a British accent? I don't know. But it weren't always like that in the days before he was the boss of the Bottle Street Gang. Time was, young Slackjaw wasn't such a reasonable man. He doesn't sound like a reasonable man now, to be honest. Like most of us, he grew up on the streets, running with a pack of ragamuffins and avoiding the law, pinching whatever he needed. Dark-haired and dark-eyed, smoking a pipe by the age of 10. For them born into the brothels or coming from the orphanages, it was either the gangs or working with the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some got pressed into the Navy or put down into the mines run by the Pendleton or Boyle families. As hard as it was on the streets, as hungry as we all got, at least we was free. I'm not even sure if this is a British accent anymore, but I'm going to keep going. I don't care. By the time we weren't littlins anymore, Slackjaw was one to watch, usually calling the shots when we took a farmer's cart or sidewalk street vendor. Took down a farmer's cart or sidewalk street vendor, pardon me. He'd come up with the plan, give everyone some part to play, and decide on the split. Most of us just went along, because we learned fast that we made out better like that. More food, more coin. Plus, none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw until he was in when he was in a rage. We worked on a couple of big jobs with Black Sally across town. That was enough to get the attention of the other bosses. He wasn't just a street kid anymore. Now he was an up-and-comer, which meant trouble. I'm gonna stop that now. That's... Wow, there is a lot of reading to do. We'll be done with this quick, I promise. Another guy who fancied himself as such was Mike the Fish, who was working his way up running the protection racket among the factory women. One fine evening, we're all taking in a bawdy show in the theatre house. Mike the Fish and his lot are there, and in the cheap seats too, just down the aisle from us. Mike gets a wild idea. He wasn't big on planning and throws a heavy ceramic spittoon at Slackjaw. Hits him square in the face and breaks his jaw. We look to see if there's going to be a blood brawl, but Slackjaw just points at the door and we all leave, with Mike laughing at our backs. Waking up the next day without telling us why, Slackjaw motions for us all to follow. He can't say a word, so we just come along. We stop at the docks, and Slackjaw actually pays coin for it, a heavy chain covered in hooks. It's for fishing in the deep, something you'd attach to a long line off the side of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links, and there are shark hooks coming off it at different angles. Slackjaw's got that thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling at his side. Not sure how he knew where Mike the Fish was staying, but when we reach his girl's house, Slackjaw throws a bottle through the window just like that. It's almost noon. There's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike pokes his head out, looking wide-eyed and baffled. When he sees Slackjaw out in the street, a look comes over his face that still gives me the willies. Pure murder. Mike comes out the side door, bellowing like a blood ox, holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. When they come together in the street, Slackjaw spins and the shark hooks bite deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams, but Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with the chain wrapped around his left arm, hooks sunk into Mike the Fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. No, Mike couldn't fight very well, hooked like that and using his left hand, but he was a big guy and it took a lot of stabbing before he went to his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet. It just kept going and going, until finally it was just Mike the Fish blubbering, crying like a baby, and the sound of Slackjaw's knife. When it was over, and here's the brilliant part, Slackjaw took out a note and stuck it to Mike's face with a nail. It just said, "If you want a job, come to Bottle Street." Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple of months, but word spread fast. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent out letters to the other bosses telling them that he was running a brand new crew over on Bottle Street. Most of them laughed, Or beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-eyed Trish even came back missing a thumb, but apparently Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. A week later, 4 of the bosses were dead. Seemed like a series of unfortunate events, but everyone knew better. One shot dead by the watch while standing in the middle of a meat market. Another slipping and falling into the water out cold. One of the older bosses found in bed with his belly opened wide and a Tivian pear stuffed in his mouth. I'm still not sure what that meant, and Sheila Barnsworth was found bubbling in a cauldron of hot wax. Lovely. Oh, dear God. Slackjaw sent out another set of letters, offers to the underbosses, telling them they'd be treated fair as peers. He even sent Green-Eye Trish with one of the letters. All of the underbosses accepted. After spilling the guts of his main competition, Slackjaw went in for stabilizing his business. Real neat like. Calling in favors, smoothing things over, giving everyone a little bit of coin or drink as a bonus, showing what he could be like as a boss. So everything got quiet, which always makes the boys of the City Watch nervous, of course. Word went out among the Royal Spymaster's snitches, the responsible citizens group they called themselves, telling everyone working in a shop or sweeping off the front steps of their homes to keep watchful eyes for Slackjaw and his men, trying to suss out what they were up to and what had just happened. But Slackjaw ain't stupid. He greased a few palms among the shopkeepers and the watch too, telling them that he was in town to stay and things would be run properly from now on, without so much blood. He was finally a real boss, ready to settle into the business of moving whiskey, running the hound fights, and offering up the ladies and gentlemen of the night, if you take my meaning. Then the plague came. First it seemed like a good thing. A few people got sick, and everyone wanted to buy those potions from Sokolov or Piero. Health elixir or spiritual remedy, they call them. Slackjaw told me he saw an opportunity. We already had an old whiskey factory with a still where we could water the stuff down and sell it discounted. Doing the same with Sokolov's elixir was a smart plan. Pretty soon everybody in the... Let's rewind a little bit there. Doing the same thing with Sokolov's elixir was a smart plan. Pretty soon everybody in the slums was sick and business was good. But after a while, there were so many people down with the plague that everyone got scared. Everybody started acting real nasty and everything fell apart. When the people can't work, they don't have the coin for elixir, watered down or pure. When the Empress died, it seemed like Dunwall would slide into the void. Spymaster Burrows took over and the Watch started using all that new Sokolov technology. Watchtowers, tall boys, and them arc pylons. They put up a wall of light across Clavering Boulevard and cracked down hard. But Slackjaw surprised us again. Instead of leaving town on a boat, bound for Morley or one of the other isles, he stayed and kept it all together. We get as much elixir to fight off the plague as the City Watch with their taxes and rations, and that's kept us alive so far. Crowley, the Bottle Street Gang. Okay, please, can we just move on and get some action? No more reading. Let's... Oh dear God, we've got some more to read. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Instead of reading this, I'm just going to pause it. Well, I'm going to sit it here for a bit. You can pause the video. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. You can pause the video there. Scroll down a bit more. You can pause the video there. Scroll down a bit more. And you can pause the video there. Okay. Done. Alright. I know there's storyline and stuff in them, but we've been sitting here for 20 minutes, and that's ridiculous. Nothing hiding around here. Alright, let's head on down and talk to people.
Should I clear space for Samuel then?
If you like, but he won't use it.
Why?
He can't sleep in regular beds anymore, or that's what he says. Says he was in the Navy too long. Can you believe it?
Oh.
That pile of wood out there? It's a hovel he built from an old rowboat. Where does Admiral Havelock find these people, I wonder?
Excuse you? What did you say to me? Huh? You talking about me? No. Okay. Hello. Who are you?
Are you a
you're
nobleman, Corvo? No one seems to know much about you. By your bearing, I'd say so. Lord Pendleton's great-grandfather took a succulent chambermaid to wife. On second thought, the story doesn't bear repeating. Even the finest blood can go bad here and there.
Indeed.
Lord Pendleton Memoirs, Chapter 27. In my 13th year, the despised stepmother at last departed, and Pendleton Hall was again quiet, although Father had by then sunk into deep depression. It was at this sensitive time that Waverly Boyle first entered my life. She who will be the source of many tender recollections to come.
Jesus Christ. You right there? Sneaking up on people. God. Hello?
Good day, Master Corvo.
What's going on in this hood? Yes, I will. Okay, this one's not too bad, so I think we can do this. Excerpt from A Travel Journey of a Young Whaler. Gaffer's Tale, Volume 1, or Gaffer's Early Adventures. God, you know what? No, I'm not going to read this. Okay, I'll make this deal. Just because these are rather long, a lot of these, I'll read the ones from now on that pertain directly to the storyline and everything. And I mean, all of this kind of does encompass the storyline as well, and it's a little bit extra story. But, you know, just random shit like this that's kind of more like side notes, I won't really bother with. I'll just pause it so that you guys can pause the video. Like, I'll hold it here so you guys can pause the video and read it. There you go, you can pause the video there. Because otherwise we're going to be spending whole episodes at a time reading, like doing nothing but reading, and that's just ridiculous. Admiralty and the Fleet, excerpt from a book on naval history, okay. This one's not too bad. But yeah, same thing, I'll just leave it paused there. There we go, you can pause that and read that later. Gaffer's Tale Volume 2. Pause that for you. There we go.
Corvo seems to have arrived in good shape. Much better than I expected, given what I've seen of Coleridge Prison. He seems willing to work with us.
Ooh.
And he shouldn't lack for motivation.
Hello.
The man has lost everything. We'll judge how he performs in the field. And if I can, I'll find a way to test him personally.
Okay. Well, now that I know a test is coming, I'm going to be expecting it. So, Harpooner songs. Yep. Oh, yes I will. What do we got? Litany on the White Cliff. Cool. Nothing strikingly important in there. What do we got out here? Oh, I can totally sneak out. What's around this way? Some shit going on in here. Just want to quickly see if there's anything down around this way. Not gonna pick up here. Okay. Hello, sir.
Well, let's get down to it. First off, I know that assassination is dark business, but sometimes good men have to do bad things to make the world right. Our purpose is clear. We want to restore Her Majesty's line by finding and putting Emily Kaldwin on the throne. To those ends, we'll hide, act in shadow, take them apart, piece by piece.
Sounds good.
Tonight, High Overseer Campbell dies by your hand. It won't be easy. He's protected by his overseers, an army of religious zealots. But if anyone can do it, you can. Your exploits are legendary. Campbell carries a private journal. Once you've eliminated him, get the journal, because we think it contains Emily's location. Recovering her is obviously critical, assuming she's alive. That's the gist of it. Remember our cause and strike true. We're counting on you.
Yeah, I will.
Another thing. Campbell is holding a former overseer by the name of Martin. He's one of us, and if you manage to find him, give him whatever help you can. He's a master strategist, and he got caught working for our cause. It'd be good to have him back here at the Hound Pits.
Sure. There we go. Pause and read that. Yeah, so any notes, anything like that that I pick up along the way that pertain directly to what I'm doing in that level at that time, I'll obviously read and stuff, and I'll skim over the rest of the stuff, and like I said, you guys can just pause the video if you guys want to read that stuff yourself. I really do appreciate the amount of effort they've put into the story and everything, but I just, when you're recording videos, you just don't have time to sit there and read everything.
Hello. I'm Callista. I work here for Admiral Havelock. I'm sorry to intrude on your business, but this is important. I suspect you're going to kill the High Overseer. That wretched man. There's really no reason for you to listen to me. But my uncle, Jeff Kernow, still serves as captain in the City Watch. But he's a good man, and my only family. The chatter in servant circles is that Campbell just took delivery of an exotic poison. And I think I know why. My uncle's not corruptible like the rest of them. Campbell is going to poison my uncle. Do you think you could protect him? You used to do that, right? Before you had your current profession. Before you became an assassin.
Wow, really? Okay, yeah, make it sound bad and everything. Jesus. Okay. Yep. Blackmail journal from High Overseer Campbell, after I kill him, obviously. Optional tasks. Use the heart to find the hound pits. Yep. Ensure Kernow survives his visit to the office of the High Overseer. Okay, cool. So that's her uncle, runes, Emily, kill. Got it. Got it. Let's just see what we've got going on here first. Wow, okay. Swim speed increased. We don't really need that. Drop assassination gives you a bit of health. I'll take that. Quick dodge. Yes, we're going to definitely need that. Breaking glasses down is moderately reduced. Yes. No, we don't need that. We don't need that. Explode with greater intensity. I don't really plan to be shooting a whole lot of things, hopefully anyway. Win sword versus sword contests more frequently. That wouldn't be bad, except I'm also trying not to get really into any front-on fights. Powers effects slightly improved. Damage from explosions reduced slightly. White rats won't attack you. Well, white rats can be consumed for mana. Holy shit. Okay, we're putting both of those on. And we'll go powers. Excellent. Now... we've got blink and dark vision, so that's cool. Inventory, we are looking at... got a few keys, all our gadgets, our ammo. Oh, damn. Wait, can I... okay, no, these are the upgrades that I've done already. Got it. Cool. Let's move the fuck on. Hello! Let's go.
Just ready to go. Just give the signal.
On goes the mask, ladies and gentlemen. And so it begins. Sorry, I know a whole lot didn't really happen this episode, but, you know, it's just the nature of the game sometimes. High Overseer Campbell leads the city's militant religious faction and is a close ally to the Lord Regent. Campbell is completely corrupt and holds the secret to Emily's location. Infiltrate the office of the High Overseer, steal Campbell's journal, and eliminate him. An ally to the Loyalists, Martin is being held there. Free him and allow him to escape. Will do. Now this...
it'll be a rough trip. Used to be to go straight up Clavering Boulevard, but now it's not so easy.
This level
Half
I
the
do
city's
remember a
dead
little
in
bit at
plague.
least.
The other half's fighting over what's left. City Watch still holds the bigger streets, and they've set up those wall of light checkpoints. Man walks through one of those and he ends up burned to a crisp. Everything not controlled by the City Watch is gang territory. Then there are the real odd birds living on the fringes like that Granny Rags. They say she's nuts.
No
Which is
kidding.
worse? Just take your pick.
Apparently she also killed her husband and boiled his bones, but whatever. Well, I'm gonna take that. Yep, that's all good. Okay, now before we start this little escapade, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave that episode right there, ladies and gentlemen. I have reached my allotted time for how long I wanted these episodes to be, so thank you very much for watching. Once again, I do apologise for all the reading and the lack of action, but there's going to be a lot of action in this next coming up episode, so stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching once again. My name is Jaybberwocky, you're watching my channel Vorpal Game. We are, of course, playing Dishonored, and I will see you in the next episode.